Hey, Eric.
Hey, John. How's it going?
It is going well. It is going well.
Ah,
I'm looking forward to March.
it is March.
Okay, I'm looking inward to March, and happy. I don't know. I'm ready for
Uh,
spring.
yeah, I have just not been able to catch a break. I mean, I complained a little while ago about my
I'm
phone troubles. Um, and did this happen before last week we recorded? My water heater cracked and leaked brown goo all over my garage and out the front door. And so I had to get a new water heater because there was no repairing that one. And then we had parked my boy's car in a space just temporarily and then it wouldn't start. And this has happened before, and we just jump started because we always thought the battery was dying. Well, apparently it was the starter. So I had to have the car towed to the repair place so they could replace the starter and take more of my money.
of
And
which you're confident that it's actually the starter.
no, I, you know, my software brain says there's something else going on, but they insist that's it. And I just need this car to last another 3 months, then we'll sell it. He goes off to college. End of story.
Uh-huh. Well, beginning of story, actually.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So are you the girl in the basement for the yeah, okay. So maybe that's a King family reference.
I don't know what the girl in the
given
basement is.
given the quiz. It's a short story, and maybe it's because my wife and I read it in college so many years ago. I want to say it's something like those who walked away. Okay, see that now I suck at this. I'm gonna find the reference, and I will
Okay.
send you a reference to the short story. And
I
I
you
will.
have now you have now intrigued me with your are
Okay,
you the girl in the basement? Because I literally am in my basement right now. The only quibble with that one is I'm not a girl. Last I checked. Um, there was three things that have gone wrong recently, and then last night or 2 nights ago now, I discovered my fancy 3D printer motherboard has fried and died, and I now have a expensive
oh, paperweight.
3D printer brick, which I was all excited. I think I mentioned about I was going to 3D print
Yeah,
a
the wind
damper
chime thing.
for the wind chime. I went to go do that, and I could not get the printer to turn on and recognize things. And it's just like, I just don't know. Come on. And I mean, it's a nice printer. It's a Prusa, but I don't want to have to order parts and replacement parts from the Czech Republic. I think that's where it's
Uh huh. That's what. Yeah.
located, and then have to pull it all apart and put it all together because it's a hobbyist type, you know. I am increasingly lazy. I just want a box where I push a button and it prints and there's no problems. I don't have to fiddle with it for an hour. Sorry. I'm going to be
Okay.
welcome to Eric's Downer podcast.
Eric's Downer.
So
Okay.
next week will be better.
Well, so in a rapid follow up, the short story I was thinking of is called "The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas," and it is by Ursula K. Le Guin.
Huh.
And um, and you could probably just read the 3 paragraph summary in Wikipedia to get what I'm talking about, but it would be much better if you actually read their story. So I would recommend read the story, "The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas,"
Got it.
and and then in the future you can join the In Club for at least the reference that my wife and I occasionally make with each other.
All right. I have been educated. I have bookmarked the Wikipedia page.
Okay, so
How was your weekend?
Um, so better than yours, I will say.
It's not a
A,
high bar. Not a high bar.
yeah. I had a 3.5 day weekend because I left early on Thursday, picked my son up from high school, and then a couple of his friends up, and we headed north to
Alaska.
well, Seattle. It's partway to Alaska from us. We went up because we had a tour of the University of Washington scheduled on Friday.
Ooh,
And,
fancy.
and the girls that we went with, or the young women, had been there before and were really encouraging my son to go and get a tour. And it's a beautiful campus, and they've got all these programs, and it's a huge, it's a extremely top rated public university. Like,
Right.
I said, something like number 3 in the world or something along those lines. Anyway, lots of stats. One of the ones I remember is that 92% of freshmen return for their sophomore year, which is compared to like an average of something like low 70s
Really?
among universities.
Huh.
And there was 74% of their freshmen graduate with their degree in 4 years. Not 5 or 6, but also
Nice.
an extremely high statistic. Anyway, so we had a tour scheduled on Friday at 2 p.m., which, if you do the math, means that we were trying to leave Seattle at 5 p.m.
Yeah, good luck with that, even with the carpool lane.
Yes,
I
thankfully
have
there
been
was a
there.
carpool lane. Yeah, but anyway, so we went up, stayed Thursday night, got up, had kind of like a leisurely Friday morning, went down to got down to the college or university by like 10:30 or so, and just kind of walked around. Went into buildings, like there was lots of stuff that was open. We went down and walked through all the sort of the library and the biology buildings and stuff like that, and went all around the campus. Got lunch at one of the cafeterias. I don't know, it's an open campus, and so we took
Right.
advantage of it, and then went to the tour at 2, and then they had kind of a little talk afterwards about admissions and stuff like that. And
Did you get a little swag bag?
we did not. We did not. We can.
Well, I guess
guess
number 3 in the world, you don't have to give any perks. You just write on your reputation.
Yeah, they don't. They don't have to. They don't have to bend. They don't have to really be very accommodating. I guess is the way to say that.
They don't have to. They don't have to market themselves that much.
Yeah, they're.
I guess
It's a huge university, though. 30,000 undergrad and another 15,000 or so grad students.
Wow,
It's pretty huge.
cool.
But anyway, it was beautiful. It was lovely. We missed the sort of cherry blossoms by like 2 weeks, I'm going to say. Like the tree, they have this huge quad with these beautiful big trees that are, they were clearly like all the they're just budding out or close to. Anyway, but it was lovely. So that was fun. And then we got back late Friday night, as you would imagine. So that was first day and a half, and then I think I mentioned that I made a sarcophagus the weekend before. So this weekend was kind of just finishing it up, drilling some air holes, to make sure that if a kid got caught like stuck in there, they could breathe. Putting the hinges on, painting it all, and so that was fun. We did all that, and that was cool. And then the third thing that happened, this actually just happened yesterday. Tuesday is trash day in my neighborhood or my neck of the woods, and I live out in the country, so I have to pay extra money so that the trash truck drives down my driveway. Fine. It is probably the best money I spend every month.
You don't
So,
have to haul the trash cans, half the mile
yeah,
down the road to the.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which, like for years we stayed here, and that my neighbor did that like every week, like clockwork. Put the trash can up on the back of his truck and take it out to the road. And every week I was just like, you go.
Hmm.
Anyway, but so evidently there was a new driver yesterday,
Oh,
and they have to drive past my house, go out to the parking lot in front of the barn, and turn around and drive back. Like it's a big parking lot, nothing really hard about it, but
well, literally nothing hard about it. It's just gravel, right?
it's gravel.
It's not pavement.
It's not pavement or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the new driver looked across the parking lot to another quite large area of gravel that we have where we kind of have like laid out for a future barn. At some point, we plan to build a barn. Today is not that day. But in between the
Okay.
parking lot and that other gravel is a 10-foot wide strip of not parking lot. And you
Hmm.
might be aware of the fact that trash trucks are very heavy.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
And they don't
That.
have like traction on their tires. Like they're just big flat tires.
Yep.
And he somehow got the trash truck stuck in the 10-foot in between my parking lot and my potential
Mm.
future barn site. I have no idea
Ah,
why they thought they could drive over there or where they thought they were going. Like I can't even figure out. I mean, it's dark. It like they come by at like 6 a.m. It's totally pitch black. I get
right.
it. Like, and it's a new driver. I just I just was like I went out there and and I went out thinking that maybe I could like help him pull him out with my tractor, and I'm like, my tractor is not big enough. Like,
Right.
there is no so at some point they they brought in a big tow truck and pulled it out, and now I have like four huge divots where they're like literally like foot and a half deep,
Mm.
huge divots where they must have just spun the wheels like crazy
Trying to get out.
trying
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
out, and just a wreck. And I'm like, but figure, you know what? They had a much worse day than I did. I will use the tractor this weekend and kind of fill them in, put some gravel down.
Right.
In 6 months, it won't be a big deal, assuming they were right over a irrigation line. But I think the irrigation line is like 3-4 feet down. I'm really hoping they didn't like crush that in any
Oh,
way,
yeah.
which I won't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
until we plug everything in, or not plug it in, but turn everything on, and
Right.
in like June. So
Hmm.
in June, if I'm swearing, then
If I hear if I hear something off in the distance.
curses. Anyway, we'll see. So, but anyway, that I had a good weekend. I had a good weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
Oh, it is what it is. So what else? What else is up with you?
Oh, I was just I guess the other note, my daughter, who's away at college, she's coming home this week. It's their spring break. But last Sunday, I get a notification on my now functioning iPhone. Your daughter has challenged you to a fitness week. So yeah, I guess in fitness, Apple Fitness Plus or whatever, you can challenge your friends to, hey, who can work out the most? I don't know what it is exactly. You get points for different exercises. And
Okay.
she is totally killing me this week. And like she had 1,500 points and I only had 700 points. I had actually missed a couple. She texted me today because I'm about ready to text her and say, look, you win, I give. I mean, it's only Wednesday. But she texts me today and says, I went to the gym and forgot my Apple Watch, so none of my workouts recorded. And so I'm like, I'm having an extra long workout today. So I did not even come close to catching up. I closed the gap by 300 points, though. So she's now up to 1,700. I think I'm at 1,400. No, 1,200. Anyways, I'm getting closer. I just need to keep. What I need is that little thing that you can put your watch on that just kind of rocks it back and forth.
Those,
so that I can get my steps in.
Yeah.
You walked 50,000 steps today.
Back before the Apple Watch, I used to wear a watch that was one of those
little Fitbit things,
self-winding.
Oh
no,
like a real
mechanical watch. But one of the things that I thought at the time was like, okay, I'm just not sure I could ever do that. If you have like a number of those, like, and this, I think my wife got me that watch for my 40th birthday. No, 35th. It was a long time ago, but I'm trying to remember how long I've had the Apple Watch for. Anyway, regardless, they have these things that you put in your closet, like fancy closets that do nothing but like turn so that you, if you have like 2 or 3 of these mechanical watches, it keeps them wound. It keeps them wound so that you can take them out and use them. But it seemed like the height of decadence, I guess. like what do you, because they have like, you could probably search them on Amazon. I haven't thought about this for like a decade, but they have like a 3-pack of, if you have 3 fancy watches, you take your watch off at night and you put it in this, and the little thing just kind of turns for you so that the watches, tomorrow you could pick out your other nice watch.
Right.
And yeah, anyway, it's pretty funny. Okay. Anyway, I was just saying, put your Apple Watch on that, and then maybe you'd get like lots and lots of.
Maybe I can catch up to her. So we'll see. I'm picking her up from the airport Friday night, like at midnight or late Friday night. So we'll see where we're at in a couple days.
So, All right. You have fun with that.
Yeah. Ready for a topic?
Hit me with a topic.
So, one of the things I saw was compromised ChatGPT credentials. So all sorts of stuff gets compromised. It's out there. Apparently, this Group IB's Threat Intelligence High-Tech Crime Trends of 23-24 report talks about the growing use and growing interest in AI systems by cyber criminals. And one is specifically around getting ChatGPT credentials and then using that to search sensitive corporate data, as these LLMs, these large language models, often don't protect the accounts with multi-factor authentication. So the point was these AI systems can let those attackers access the confidential information, including internal source code, financial data, and trade secrets, and access communication history logs between employees and the systems. If you're using ChatGPT internally and you're letting it learn all about your internal sensitive data, if someone knows how to ask the right questions. So one of the other things it mentions is over 225,000 InfoStealer logs containing compromised ChatGPT credentials were detected between January and October of 2023. And along with that, 4 ChatGPT-style tools were developed since mid-2023 to facilitate such activities, including WolfGPT, DarkBard, FraudGPT, and WormGPT. I think we actually talked about WormGPT.
I think so.
A year or so ago. But apparently there's a bunch of new ones that are created, like FraudGPT and WormGPT are popular for social engineering and phishing, and WolfGPT focuses on code or exploits. And some of the links there would show how you can ask, basically, build me polymorphic malware. You tell it what to do, and it'll generate all the code for building some polymorphic malware, for example. And so the researchers detected around 130,000 compromised hosts with ChatGPT access between June and October 2023, 36% increase from the previous year. So the bad guys are coming after your ChatGPTs.
So are they stealing tokens? Tokens or credentials, I guess.
Credentials. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess they said that they're not don't have multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
So I guess the other crazy thing is, I mean, ChatGPT was only released in late 22, I want to
Yeah.
say.
I think so.
November or something like that. So
Yeah.
having 225,000 logs containing comprised ChatGPT credentials in the essentially the first 10 months of 23, that seems high, but
It's very popular.
it was very popular.
Yeah. One
It
of the
is very popular.
tangential, however you say that word,
Tangentially.
tangentially. One of the other things I noticed in the report was that global threat actors, primarily APT groups, are targeting Apple platforms more, with underground sales of macOS information stealers increasing 5-fold. So there you go. It used to be
Interesting.
macOS was kind of easier to, less of a risk, but you get pretty popular and then you attract attention.
That's what happens.
Flies to honey. Or is it peas to honey?
Well,
Or no,
that's where the money is.
Yeah. Go where the money is.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's what I saw. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff in this report, but that was the fun one.
All right. Well, I kind of chose two tonight, but I decided to have a theme of IoT-ish.
Nice. The S in IoT stands for security.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is a Consumer Reports article about video doorbells. And so
I have one of those.
Well, but hopefully you have a Ring doorbell, though, I hope.
Yes, I do.
These are essentially white box video doorbells, sold cheaply on Amazon, Walmart. What they said, Sears.
Is Sears still a thing?
I didn't know Sears was still a thing. What do they say? Yeah, Walmart, Sears, and the globally popular marketplaces Shane and Temu. Evidently, they're sold under a bunch of different brand names, but all the brands use the same app to manage it. And as you rightly implied, there's basically no security. No security. The two big things they talked about in here, other than the fact that, these are widely available, I think they said something like 10 or more, under 10 or more different brands, but all of which, come in the same white box with the exact same styling and use the exact same management app, etc. But they don't use any encryption. So in the article, they didn't actually say they use HTTP. It just says that that they don't use any encryption. But they also say that if you know the serial number of the device, then you have complete access to the device's recordings, pictures, etc., from a unsecured website. So essentially, again, they didn't say this in the article, but I infer from that there's a URL or URI that you can use that includes the SSN or the not Social Security, the security number, the device ID in the URI to basically see anything from any camera. And but fine, how would you figure out? Well, you can pair, if you have physical access to the doorbell, aka you're standing at the door, you just push the pairing button with your phone, and it'll pair to your phone, and you can find the serial number from that. So, like, if you've ever had physical access to the phone, to the not phone, to the doorbell, you can have complete access to the images from then on out. And of course, in this they're talking about what are, this could be used for spying, for stalkers, for anything like that. It says the Consumer Reports journalist provided the serial number to the security researcher so that they could show them the types of data that they could see with that. No password needed. No account. No notification to the doorbell's owner. Nothing like that. So, it's a plague almost of sort of low tech, low priced devices that are essentially, just flooding the market. So, and there's some quotes in here towards the bottom of the article where they're like saying that, these companies are just kind of surfing whatever is popular and throwing the sort of lowest cost thing they can together to kind of catch the wave or the trend of something being bought. And, there's a quote that, some of these things can go from nothing to a device in, under a couple of weeks. Here's a thing. For the security camera market, this is a quote, the brand is just a brand. Think of it more like a marketing agency. They could do a bit of injection molding and package design to create a look and feel, but they don't do much beyond that. They don't hold a lot of inventory. They flit in and out of existence, surfing the trends of commodity markets. To create their products, such companies can take a reference design from a chip company that makes the brains inside the electronic devices, buy the relevant electronics from neighboring factories, manufacture a cheap plastic case, then assemble the final product. Huang says some Chinese companies can put together a new electronic device in as little as 2 weeks. However, that kind of fast, cheap product development doesn't lend itself to cybersecurity. No surprise. According to Steve Hanna, who is responsible for IoT security strategy and technology at Infineon Technologies, a semiconductor company. It's always the case that building a more secure product costs more, he says, but for many low-cost IoT companies, there is little economic incentive to include security because it is invisible to most consumers. And every time I read a sentence like that, a little bit of me dies.
I shouldn't laugh, but yeah.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's your celebration of the little part of you that just died too.
Yeah. If we can't laugh, what else can we do?
Yes, like you laugh, you cry, you something like that. So there is my first one.
All right.
So maybe don't buy a cheap doorbell off of Amazon or Sears.
No.
Okay, my second one I did mostly for two reasons. A, because it was about MQTT, and B, it was about Anycubic printers, of which I have
one of those.
I have two of those. If I look to my right, I have two Anycubic printers.
Is one still in its box?
No, they're both out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But these printers resemble a little bit that last topic. So
MQTT, a messaging
MQTT
feature.
Message queuing telemetry transport, I think is what that stands for.
Mm-hmm.
But here's a quote. According to a wave of online reports from Anycubic customers, someone hacked their 3D printers to warn that the devices are exposed to attacks. So the person behind this incident added a hacked machine readme.g code file to their devices, a file that usually contains 3D printing instructions, alerting the affected users that their printer is impacted by a critical security bug.
A good Samaritan, I'm sure.
So there's literally a picture of the G code file where the top the top of the file, and I actually didn't even notice if there was any actual G code in it. I assume there isn't. Is just like one big old comment block that basically has some ASCII art in it with a comment that basically says that the Anycubic is not listening to security incidents, and so they basically hacked, according to the file, to 2,934,635 devices. I mean, who knows if that's accurate or not? And put a file down there that basically said that you should not connect your Anycubic printer to the internet, which I'm going to go, that's perpetual good advice.
Yeah.
But A, I didn't realize you actually could. B, I know that you shouldn't. So anyway, no, you cannot connect to either of my printers. When I want to print something, I like a animal, pull out a thumb drive and with the sliced file, and I put it into the side of the printer, and I use the little buttons on the printer and say print. So like an animal. But anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Anyway. La 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 la. So evidently the Anycubic uses the company's MQTT service to send print jobs to the printers, evidently.
Cloud service, huh?
Again, this article doesn't go into it, but it doesn't take a lot of experience with PubSub to think of exactly how that's probably happening. So let's see. It says, here's some quotes from the actual README. Feel free to disconnect your printer from the internet if you don't want to get hacked by a bad actor. This is just a harmless message. You have not been harmed in any way. You should blame Anycubic for the MQTT server, which allows any valid credential to connect and control your printer via the MQTT API. Let's just hope the Anycubic fixes their MQTT server. So Anycubic has not provided an official statement. But evidently there's been some posts on a 3D printing focused forum warning about two critical vulnerabilities. And the quote from there is, "We have attempted to communicate with Anycubic regarding two critical security vulnerabilities we identified. In particular, one can be catastrophic if found by a malicious." That doesn't parse, but despite our efforts over the past 2 months, we have not received a single response to our 3 emails. These vulnerabilities are significant, and we have invested considerable time and effort into addressing them. Despite our initial intention to resolve the issue amicably, and we still hope in it, it appears that our concerns have not been taken seriously by Anycubic. Consequently, we are now preparing to disclose these vulnerabilities to the public along with our repo and our tools.
Yay! Free print jobs.
Free print jobs. Yeah. And the problem with that is there's no feedback. How do you know whether it worked?
The hacked doorbell cameras. Just use those to see if the printer is printed.
Anyway. So there you go. Two IoT-ish things this week. I figured they're kind of fun-ish, or not really, but
all right.
There you go. How about something fun?
Well,
like legit fun.
All right. So legit fun. If I were to say something, hey, did you know that humans are similar to chimpanzees? You would go, well, duh, Eric. But then what if I said also bumblebees?
Okay, what?
Yeah. So this is an article, that talks about cumulative culture. One of humanity's crowning talents is called cumulative culture, and our ability to build up skills, knowledge, and technology over time and improving them as they pass down through the generations is an ability previously thought to be unique to humans.
Okay.
But a study was done. Let's see. Where's the part of the study? some UK-led researchers turned to the humble Bumblebee, to see if this would work. So the first step they did was they trained a crack squad of demonstrators, bees, to do some complex skill that they would then have those bees teach others. And in the lab, the bees were given a 2-step puzzle box. They had to push a blue tab and then a red tab, and then sugar prize comes out. Right?
Okay.
It's always about food. So this task was really Alice Bridges, a study co-author, also from Queen Mary University, said this task is really difficult for bees because we were essentially asking them to learn to do something in exchange for nothing during the first step.
Okay.
And so, it didn't work. So to motivate the bees, they put the sugary treat at the end of the first step, and then they gradually withdrew that as they mastered that process. And so they push the blue tab and then the red tab, they get sugar. Then the researchers paired up these demonstrators, the bees who had learned this behavior, with some new naive bees, and then watched the demonstrators solve the puzzle, and then they went and followed them. So 5 of the 15 naive bees swiftly figured it out. They didn't need the reward after the first stage. So
interesting.
The assertion here is just like, and it talks about the chimpanzees, but I think that one's not as interesting as the bees.
I
Being
agree.
a bee guy yourself.
I agree.
So, it is, hey, bees. The point is clear that the task was exceptionally hard to learn alone. Yet some bees could solve it through social learning. And the authors of the research said it was the first demonstration of cumulative culture in an invertebrate, which I thought was kind of cool. And reminds me, we still haven't gone to see The Beekeeper.
I thought about that this weekend, but I just didn't like. I haven't had a free night.
I know,
it's crazy. You wouldn't think so. Is it still in theaters? I don't even know.
I assume so. I'm sure theaters are desperate for anybody to come watch anything.
Yeah. Well, I would still like to see it.
So that's my first one, and then I'll give you a bonus one, just because I stumbled across this show. I watched the first season of this show a long time ago. Well, I guess not that long ago, but a while ago, and it's now available on Netflix. It's called Resident Alien.
Okay.
And I think the show is hilarious. The plot is basically an alien lands on Earth with a mission to destroy kill all of humanity. He takes human form and then goes through very comedic steps of becoming understanding what it's like to be human. And so now he doesn't want to kill humans anymore. And there's now 3 seasons. I'm only halfway through season 2. And it is I'll call it a dark comedy. I mean, it is hilarious because I love the actor Alan Tudyk, I think is how you say his name. He was in Firefly, Serenity. He's been in a number of other things. He's like a character actor, and he does such a good alien living inside a human body. I mean, I just crack up watching this show.
Okay.
So I know it's going to go right to the top of the list you have yet to get to
of stuff I never watch.
But for anybody else, check out Resident Alien if you haven't heard of it. It's on Netflix. The first 2 seasons are on Netflix now. It's a sci-fi original, which has the 3rd season. So I'll either have to wait for the 3rd season. But I watched the first season, I think a year or 2 ago on Hulu and forgot about it. And now I'm watching season 2 and I'm reminded of how kind of a dark comedy. It's from a Dark Horse comic, an adaptation from a comic. And it's quite good, quite funny.
Okay.
So there's my second bonus fun there, just because I was watching a show earlier today while I waited for computers to do things.
Okay. Okay. All right. Resident Alien. All right. Yes. I will promise that I might watch it.
You might be entertained. I'll give you that.
Okay. All right. Well, my something fun tonight. I think it was last week that I mentioned that the week before, we had gone to see Jurassic Park
Uh-huh.
at the symphony.
Yep.
The live symphony plays while the movie plays above, and that it really held up. So my son actually came out of that, and because my wife was like, you're into biology, you really should read the book if and so he's like, I don't know, halfway through the book now. And because the book is way better than the movie, as they always are.
As books are. Yeah.
But so last year in episode 300, we talked about human-induced pluripotent stem cells. And so I'm tying the two things together because there's an article for the, oh shoot, I forgot. I didn't pull out the name of the company that's trying to bring back the woolly mammoths. It's like,
didn't we mention this a long
Operation
time ago?
Colossus or
Yeah, something like that.
but anyway, so they have taken the tech for inducing pluripotent stem cells and have reproduced it in elephants. So they haven't done the mammoth yet, but they have reproduced it for elephants. They announced today. And so it's a stepping stone. Evidently, elephants have been hard to do this for, and it's going to be helpful for. They said Asian elephants, I guess. It's going to be helpful for the health of elephants, regardless whether or not they eventually succeed in bringing back mammoths. But let's see. The quote. The quote is, and now the company says scientists have, for the first time, created induced pluripotent stem cells for the mammoth's closest living relative, Asian elephants. The company plans to describe the work in a scientific paper that will be posted on the bioRxiv preprint server. It hasn't been peer reviewed, but the company says that's in progress. Okay, so a little bit of skepticism there, but okay, good for you. So scientists can now try to use cloning techniques and gene editing to manipulate the cells in hopes of someday creating elephants with key traits of mammoths, such as their heavy coats and the layers of fat that enable them to survive in cold climates. We don't necessarily need to bring back a perfect genome of a mammoth because we want one that has certain things that mammoths didn't have. Like we want them to be resistant to the herpes virus that is causing huge fractions of infant elephants to die, Church said. But some scientists object to the whole idea of trying to revive extinct animals. And then they go through a whole litany of scientists who are like, you're crazy. I want funding for all these other important things. We maybe should save some other species from going extinct instead of trying to bring back these ones that have already gone extinct, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which essentially the last half of the article is a bunch of scientists saying, curses, fund my current projects, But
is this CRISPR? Gene editing with CRISPR?
Well, I think they did not mention that in here at all. The induced pluripotent stem cells from, I don't think I brought that. I kept that article up from when we did it last in episode 300, but that was not done with CRISPR. But now that you have cell or DNA from there, I think you could use CRISPR to make the genetic modifications that you want to make. So
hey, we do that all the time with plants. They're not animals.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So either figure out how to live with it, or just complain. I don't.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, there was
cool.
I did the last positive quote I've pulled out was that we're very, very excited to have derived the first elephant-induced pluripotent stem cell, says Ariona Hisoli, who heads Colossal's Mammoth Project. Colossal, that's the name of the company. These cells will benefit the elephant conservation community just as much as being engineered to bring back the woolly mammoth. So, okay. So double your pleasure, double your fun. There you go. There you go.
Can't wait to go to the zoo and check out the woolly mammoths.
I That will be exciting. Why not?
Yeah.
Yes. I
I,
you know, we'll
you know,
be in our 60s or 70s, but hey, still, that'll be
I,
cool.
I'm assuming I'm still going to like zoos at that point.
I hope to. You bet. You bet.
All right.
All right, there you go. That's my something fun.
All right. That's good.
Have a good evening, Eric. I'll
Yep.
talk to you later.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.